Why do Jehovah's Witnesses have mental problems? Today we are looking at PhD Jerry Bergman's scholarly research on the subject. Scientific studies have concluded that mental illness among Jehovah's Witnesses far exceeds that of the general public. We're going to take a look at the scientific research. Bergman states, especially since the 1975 date, which was predicted to usher in God's kingdom on earth, failed, the numerous problems in the Watchtower congregations have received much mass media and scholarly attention. He continues, most intensively studied problems include disfellowshipping, doctrinal disputes, and their recurring prophetic speculation failures. Witness mental health issues have also been examined by many investigators. We're going to go over what Bergman describes as 8 academic studies which explored the problem of witness mental illness. The first study addressed is the Rylander study. In summary, of the 135 randomly selected cases, fully 126 were witnesses. Of these 126, Rylander diagnosed 51 as neurotic, 42 as psychotic, 32 as mentally retarded, and 5 as brain damaged. Some overlap exists because some cases were in 2 or more categories. Rylander also concluded from the subject's medical records and his interviews that their pathological state was not uncommonly evident before conversion, but that the Watchtower's influence was often detrimental to mental health, sometimes severely so. Rylander also concluded that many of those he studied lacked in education, job skills, emotional stability, and quality social relations. Unsatisfactory employment records often existed because of psychological deficiencies, lack of ability, or immaturity. The second study addressed is the first American study. In summary, the level of witness psychosis in his sample was about 17 times higher than that for the population as a whole. The third study addressed is the Janner study. In summary, a significant number of witnesses showed one or more of the following symptoms: high level of fear-anxiety, severe neuroticism, introversion and/or social isolation tendencies. He continues, Janner concluded that the witnesses were generally somewhat removed from reality, although some demonstrated intense religious feeling. As found in other studies, the majority of the witnesses in his sample were unskilled or semi-skilled workers. He concluded that the mental illness rate among witnesses was far higher than the rate among non-witnesses. The Watchtower influence was often not positive, and there was no evidence that it had, in the long run, helped. The fourth study addressed is Spencer's research. In summary, Spencer concluded that the rate of serious mental illness among this group of witnesses was 3 times higher than that of non-witnesses, and the diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia was fully 4 times higher. Now we'll take a brief look at some of the other research studies included. In summary, Montague states the mental illness rate of JWs is approximately 10 to 16 times higher than the rate for the general non-witness population, and that about 10% of the publishers, or full members, in the average congregation are in serious need of professional help. He shows that Montague concluded that persons who had emotional problems were attracted to the witnesses, but Watchtower involvement also caused many of the emotional problems that they suffered. Next, Bergman briefly covers Potter. As part of his PhD thesis on religion and mental health, concluded that there exists a strong positive correlation between witness membership and clinical schizophrenia. Bergman concluded that not only is the mental illness rate above average, but the suicide and crime rates are also high, especially aggressive crimes against persons. Witnesses commonly react to the research on their mental health by refusing to acknowledge its validity. They may cite the Watchtower's teaching that the Christian witnesses of Jehovah are the best oriented, happiest, and most content group of people on the face of the earth. Next, Dr. Bergman addresses why mental health problems are so great. He states the main causes for mental illness are 1. Change in policy, 2. That they are taught that their organization alone is specifically run by God, and 3. Prophecy failure. Next, the doctor goes over the way out. In summary, he states, some are fortunate though, and through intensive Bible study come to realize that the Watchtower is based on a misunderstanding of the Bible and a misreading of many select proof texts. These persons realize a firm faith does exist that is not based on the shifting sands of a man-made organization directed by individuals who are scripturally illiterate and ill-informed about historical Christianity or even modern biblical research. In summary, he states, the Watchtower often shows little concern for those under their care. They are now a huge bureaucratic organization. Their USA income alone was over $1,250,000,000. He also points out that they have just completed a luxury complex in Paterson, New Jersey, own $1,000,000 chandeliers, and billions in real estate. Jerry Bergman's research is a valuable asset. Our critique of the overall content lands Jerry Bergman with an astounding thumbs up. The Watchtower, of course, would like to silence doctors such as these in the case studies. While being familiar, though, with the high statistics for mental illness amongst their members, produce many articles that can be helpful in aiding you into finding an answer out of depression or mental illness, or even the risk of suicide while being a member of this organization. As commented in this Awake article, medication for restoring the proper chemical balance has proved helpful to many. This government website reports that 52.7% of people found medication for depression extremely helpful or a lot of help. Another Awake article reports appropriate medication relieved her major depression. Know that your fellow Christians will understand. Reference to this Awake article, I have to take medication regularly for my problems with depression. My fellow Christians understand, though, and help me to cope. We also can reference another Awake article stating, medication. If a sufferer has difficulty sleeping or suffers anxiety, tension, or depression, a doctor may prescribe sedatives or antidepressants to ease these symptoms. Another Awake reports a debilitating depression must be taken to a professional because there may be a need for medication. We use medication in well over half of our cases, even with children down to 5 years of age. This great article in Awake reports, Irene's doctors tried a new antipsychotic drug. Where talk therapy and electroshock had failed, medication succeeded. Irene and thousands like her were able to leave mental hospitals and go home. In summary, we see an overwhelming amount of research in the area of mental illness and Jehovah's Witnesses. We also see through numerous Awake articles that medication might be the right answer for you. If you have questions, please see your doctor.